Hey, what's up, 209? Today we have a special guest, Ian Calderon, who is running for governor for our great state of California. Thank you for being here today.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So I understand you used to be a legislature. If you could introduce yourself a little bit, tell us more about yourself, because our audience, this may be the first time they're learning about you. So tell us more about who is Ian Calderon.
Yeah, so I started my campaign for assembly when I was 25 years old. I had a lot of people looking down their nose at me, judging me because of my age. You know, you're not old enough, you don't have enough life experience in order to do this job. Well, I disagreed, and my perspective was there isn't somebody from my generation that's at the table where decisions are being made. And so there's going to be significant challenges that my generation is going to suffer as a result of these decisions that are being made. So I wanted to run because I wanted to be able to represent that perspective in Sacramento. So I actually knocked on 1,000 doors in my community.
Wow.
I won my primary by 330 votes.
Okay.
And then I ended up getting 65% of the vote in the general election, and I got elected just after turning 27.
Wow.
I was born in '85, so I'm a millennial, and I was the first millennial ever elected in the state legislature.
Okay.
And then a couple years later, in 2016, I became the majority leader, the youngest in the history of the state.
Wow. Okay. So it sounds like you're already a trailblazer. So right now, there's a lot of people running for governor. It's a very crowded field. What do you think sets you apart?
Yeah, I mean, so I could have served a total of 12 years in the legislature. I ended up serving 8. And the reason why I ended up serving 8 years is because as a result of me being young, I had a lot of major life milestones that happened during my tenure in the legislature. I got engaged, I got married, I had 3 of my 4 kids. I got 4 kids. My kids are 8, 6, 5, and 4. And it was just becoming really apparent that I was gone a lot, and that was impacting, even just like my oldest daughter. I'd look at her and, it would take a day for her to warm up to me because I was gone all week. And then as soon as she got warmed up to me, I'd have to leave and go back to Sacramento and be in session. So as much as I loved what I did, I loved what I worked on, the people that I worked with, having power wasn't the thing that was most important to me. Being a dad and being with my family was. And so I made a decision that most people in my situation don't make. I gave up the power. I left office. I could have served for 4 more years, but I decided to go back and be with my family. And so for the last 5 years, I've been running my business, have an opportunity to take my kids to school in the morning, pick them up from school, and I got everything that I wanted out of leaving the legislature. But we've really got to this point in California where my wife and I started legitimately having conversations about our kids' future in this state. And when our kids were going to come to us and say, Mom, Dad, we love you guys, we love this state, but if we want to move out of your house one day, if we want to own our own home, start our own family, we're going to have to leave the state. And that terrifies me. That makes me feel like we've just failed our youth. And I don't want that to be California's future. And so the reason that pulled me out of the legislature was my family, my kids. That's what's pushing me back in now and running for office and running for governor of California.
So let's say, and so our audience knows, we're giving them the heads up early. The election, the general election is November 2026. So a year from now, Ian Calderon gets elected governor. What are going to be your focuses day one in office?
Yeah, so there are a lot of things that are going to need to be worked on in this state. Affordability being number one. We have to make it more affordable to live in this state. It's just become unsustainable. People can't afford their lives. And when you couple that with the fact that the state of California has told generations of people that homeownership isn't for them, that is not a recipe for success. We have to create a pathway to homeownership. And homeownership, that's tied to the fact that we have the highest poverty rate in the country. Our homelessness, it's tied to affordability. And that's part of the American dream, the California dream, being able to own your own home one day, build that generational wealth that you can give back to your family and pass on to your family. And we've just told entire generations of people now that isn't for you. I mean, think about this. The average age of a first-time home buyer in this state is 40 years old. The median price home is $800,000, which is twice the national average. And corporations and foreign investors, they own 1 in 5 homes, 20% of all the homes in this state. And we have to be able to level the playing field, because if you're a first-time home buyer having to commit with compete against a potential institutional investor with an all-cash offer, a foreign investor, there is no competition. You're going to lose that.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we have to work on creating pathways to home ownership, leveling the playing field so that families and individuals in the state can compete against institutional foreign investors. And then we just have to work on affordability. And then the state, we got to actually use and implement technology to just better run state government. We live in the tech capital of the world. So why aren't we using that technology to improve the way that we deliver services to people in this state and make our government more effective and more efficient? The tools are there. We've just lacked courage and vision to actually get it done.
Well, I appreciate you coming in today. Like I mentioned, our audience and Californians throughout the state are going to be getting inundated with, commercials and candidates. So we'd like to kind of get more in depth and have a conversation and introduce candidates to our audience. So I definitely appreciate you taking the time to come here. What is something that you would like to let our audience know a little bit more about yourself, that they can kind of take with them to want to look more into who is Ian Calderon?
Look at what's happening in our country right now. You are seeing a changing of the guard, a passing of the baton of leadership. You have people of all ages, of all diversity, backgrounds, they're asking for something new and something different, because what people recognize is that we're not going to solve the challenges that are facing Californians by continuing to elect the same people that only put forth the same tired solutions that have proven to not work. I'm not that. I want to represent a new generation of leadership. Sometimes that can mean just being young and being able to think differently, but it also means being able to be creative and innovative in solving the challenges that are facing Californians. These same problems have persisted in our state for a really long time, and we're not going to be able to solve these challenges with the status quo. We have to think outside that small box of solutions that we've always pulled from. It's a big, wide world out there, and people want something new and they want something different. They want creativity and innovation and solution making, and that's what I offer. That's what I'm bringing to the table. It is getting away from just the same old, and finally stepping into something new that is actually going to make a difference in people's everyday lives. That's why I'm running for governor. That's what's motivating me. It is difficult to live in this state, but it doesn't have to be this hard. And I believe that I'm the right candidate that can change that dynamic.
Well, again, thank you for coming here and taking the time to educate us more about who you are and your priorities. If our audience or people in California, voters, want to learn more about you, where can they find you? You have a website, your social media?
Yeah, so I got a ton of information on the website, and you can even get a hold of us and share your thoughts and connect directly with the campaign. And it's ianforgovernor.com. We're on TikTok, Ian for CA 2026. We're on Instagram at ENC Calderon, and on X, it's at Ian Calderon.
Okay, well, sounds great. I appreciate it. And there's a lot of time between now and the primary, which is in June. So hopefully we can bring you back as it gets closer to the primary election and remind our audience and have some follow-up questions with you. So definitely wish you good luck in your endeavors and appreciate you taking the time to come here.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to coming back.
All right, everybody. That's it for this episode. See you on the next one.